Good evening, good evening, good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing this evening? I want to apologize before we get started with this episode. I had some major technical difficulties I had going on. So I know maybe not everybody will get to be in on this episode, but we're going to definitely get this on, and you definitely can watch here on Titans of Truth. I'm your man Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and I hope everybody gets to enjoy this show. And I just again thank everybody for their patience, and I definitely apologize for the inconvenience. I know it might be getting kind of late, and I know everybody got jobs to do and work to be at and things like that. But we're definitely gonna have some fun here tonight. What's up, Noob Destroyer? What's going on? And and speaking of Titans Tube, I definitely want to first, before we get started, give a very, very special shout out to my man Justin and to my boy Caleb of Titans Tube, the very popular YouTube show. I was able to be on with Justin last night, and we actually had a really, really good show, a very, very good conversation about this Titans team, not only from the unfortunate loss to the Baltimore Ravens, but of course coming up with the game against the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm so used to still saying San Diego, but the Los Angeles Chargers across the pond in jolly old London. And that's basically what this show is going to be all about. Like I said, if you follow the TNT Enforcers page, y'all saw my post game rant where I was just very, very upset as far as I'm concerned about the loss to the Baltimore Ravens. But yes, I again want to thank Justin and Caleb for having me on Titans Tube last night. The episode is up and available. I'll make sure to share that out. And if you haven't followed Titans Tube, they are extremely popular. They have over one, maybe even 2,000 or more subscribers already. So they are very, very big on YouTube. And these guys, they run a great, great podcast, a very great show. I was very thankful to be a part of it. And once again, thank you guys for having me on. Definitely, I'm going to share that episode out. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun doing it. I look forward to being on that show with those guys once again. Also want to give a shout out to my sponsor of Titans of Truth, that is Craft Gasmet Creations. My cousin LaCrystal Cleveland, my homie. Y'all know y'all can go check her out and get some gear and definitely represent Titans of Truth. And so definitely get out there and definitely support her. You're supporting the show, and definitely get some gear, whether it be like this sweatshirt, this hoodie that I have on, or the sweatshirt that y'all see me wear, the light blue, or the t-shirt in the navy blue. You can get them in any different colors. Like if you want this hoodie in light blue, you could do it that way. Or if you want the sweatshirt in navy, you could do it that way. Or the t-shirt in gray, you could do it that way. So either way, you could definitely get some Titans of Truth gear from her. And you could definitely support the show that way. What's up, AZ Mick? Again, thank y'all for your patience. I had some technical difficulties with my computer, but it looks like everything is finally good to go. And we're going to go ahead and get this show going. So now, of course, we have this huge, huge game coming up in jolly old London. This is our first time actually going over to London, and this was where we get to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. And this game is extremely important. So I mean, this game is going to tell a lot about this team. It's going to tell a lot about the direction that this team is going. And after two very bad losses, I mean, they need to bounce back in a major way because, like me and Justin were discussing last night, if you lose this game, this would be a very bad spot for the Titans to be in. They lost the 2-game lead that they had in the division, and now they got a fighting scratch, but this division is wide open because what we thought would be a good division has not turned out to be so. So, I mean, the opportunity is there for us to still take this division, but we got to get it together on both sides of the ball, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But when I mean both sides of the ball, I'm meaning the trenches on both sides of the ball. We got whooped on both ends, on the offensive and defensive line. And so we got our work cut out for us this week as we get ready to face the Los Angeles Chargers. And, you know, this Charger team coming in, they're 4-2. Their only 2 losses have been to the 2 hottest teams in the NFL, the LA Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. And they put a butt whooping on the Cleveland Browns last week, 38-14, as they improved to 4-2. Phillip Rivers tossed a couple of touchdowns to Tyrell Williams, and also Melvin Gordon. I mean, 18 carries, 132 yards, and I believe he had 3 scores in that game. So, you know, the Titans have had some issues stopping the run. They got their work cut out for them in this game, going against a very, very potent offense. This is probably going to be the best offensive threat we face yet this season. You know, you got Phillip Rivers, who is probably going to the Hall of Fame at some point. I mean, he's had a terrific career. You got Melvin Gordon, who is just, he's quick, he's fast off the ball. They have another guy named Eckler. That's a pretty good back as well. And Melvin Gordon, of course, not only running the ball, but catching passes out of the backfield. He's not going to be very easy to stop. And then, of course, the wide receivers, you got Keenan Allen, who's very fast, Tyrell Williams, who's gotten much, much better in the passing game. And, of course, my man crush, the guy that I wanted in the draft all along back in 2017, Mike Williams is coming along. So this, and of course, the ageless one, Antonio Gates, is definitely somebody that is, he's been a Titan killer the last 5 to 7 years. So, again, we got our work cut out for us defensively. And on the other side, offensively, we've got to clean up the mess, especially on the offensive line. We got to block better. You know, the running game has got to get going. And, I mean, the opportunity is there. You know, the opportunity is definitely there. This defense is in the middle of the pack defensively, especially without Joey Bosa in the lineup. But they do still have some very capable players on that side of the ball with Melvin Ingram. You got Casey Hayward. You got a pair of very, very good safeties in Derwin James and Desmond King. King had 2 interceptions in the game against Cleveland. He was another guy that I was thinking that we could have gotten in that draft as well. But yes, this LA Charger team is stacked. But again, you know, even though I don't have a really good feeling about this game, I mean, this is a game that the Titans can still win and, quite frankly, need to win for a lot of different reasons. And you know, we'll get to pick my brain, and I will announce the dunce of the dunce or dunces of the day. So you can still get your votes in on that. And you know, if you listen to the episode of Titans 2 from yesterday, you know, yeah, I know I didn't have a good feeling about this game and everything. And don't get me wrong, I am a firm believer in this team. I want this team to win. Understand that. I want this team to win this game, but this is not going to be an easy game to win, and that's just the honest truth. This Charger team is hot right now. They've won 3 games in a row. You know, they've won 3 in a row. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders, which is the exact opposite of what our offense is doing. Their offense is pretty hot. Our offense is freezing cold, and that narrative has got to change, and it's got to change in a hurry. You know, but some good news on the Titans front. I know Noob Destroyer saying I'm a Titans fan, but we're screwed. AZ Mix said I'm worried about this game. I understand that. But you know what? I gave a lot of negativity, you know, on my angry rant. Let's go positive. First off, Benny Logan was a full go of practice. Kenny Vaccaro and Wesley Woodyard practiced on a limited basis today. Wesley Woodyard looks like he will. It looks like all signs point to Wesley Woodyard returning this week and going in the game in London. And it all looks like Kenny Vaccaro might be back on the field a little bit early too. I wasn't expecting him back till after the bye week. We'll see if he goes, but I believe from what Coach Vrabel has said in the last few weeks, it looks like Wesley Woodyard is going to go in this game, and Wesley Woodyard could be a huge boost to stopping the run with that. So that could be a huge help, and definitely having that leader on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm glad to have that news. Of course, everybody looks like on the offensive side is practiced. What they're going to be doing today, they practice, they have meetings. This is a very, very short week. Tomorrow, they're going to have a practice in the morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, they're going to fly 12 hours over to London. And so they're going to be getting in at about 6:30 Friday morning. 6:30 Friday morning, which of course they'll be 6 hours ahead of us. So that'll be around I would say around midnight, or maybe around 1 or 2 in the morning, our time. Actually it'll be about midnight. That's right. And then about 10:30 Friday morning, which will be about 4:30 a.m. our time, they're going to have a practice. They're going to be practicing in London. Of course, they're probably going to have a lot of things going on, promoting the NFL and promoting themselves. So this is a huge opportunity for the Tennessee Titans, not only to right the ship and get things together. What's up, Gino P? It's not just an opportunity to right the ship, get things together, but it is also a huge chance to show the world that we are better than what we just showed against Baltimore and Buffalo. For a lot of people over in London, in Europe, and around the world, this is going to be the first time they get to see the Tennessee Titans play American football. And I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel and John Robinson and Marcus Mariota, they've made an emphasis. They know they got to put on a good performance over in London to not only right the ship for themselves, but to put a good product out there for the world to see. You don't want to put that same product we just witnessed, because that would be humiliating on a whole different level. And so I think all of these guys, and I've been listening to some radio shows, especially Jared and GM, this could be a desperate game for the Tennessee Titans, where we might see them play with some desperation, play with some aggressiveness, and just lay it all out on the field, holding nothing back. Because, hey, you got the bye week coming up next week. You can let out everything in this game. And AZ Mix saying, I hope Butler plays better. He better play better. They've talked about it. Vrabel commented on that, saying, it may be a technique issue with Malcolm Butler, maybe being a little bit too overly aggressive. And maybe he just needs to be technically sound and not be so aggressive and just play the position. Maybe that's something that Coach Coons needs to instill. Just play your position. Don't try so hard to make a play, and then you try so hard to make a play after giving up one. That's something that Malcolm Butler needs to do. Just dumb it down, simplify, and just play the game. Let the game come to you. And that's something that Logan Ryan has done. Adoree Jackson's done pretty well with that. Malcolm needs to do the same thing. Classic Ride Society, of course, thank you. And thank you to all the new subscribers who have joined the show and everything. I appreciate that very much. Titan 2 brought him here. Classic Ride, I appreciate that. I am glad that you are here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining me and joining the TNT Enforcer crew. So thank you for that. But this, like I said, this game is important on a whole lot of fronts, not just for the team, not just on a national stage, but on a world stage. 8:30 in the morning, people are going to be getting up extra early. A lot of people are going to be, out tailgating or at bars early in the morning. You're the first game they're going to get to watch. Got to put on a show. You got to go out there, keep pace with the Chargers, and try to get a victory. And, I have I have four ways by Blue Enforcer, 4 ways to victory that the Titans can win this game. And I know I may not really feel good about this game, but there is a way that the Titans can indeed win this football game. Number one, let's start on the offensive side with 2 things. Number one, the Titans have got to get the run game going somehow. I know that is beating a dead horse, and that's basically knocking on wood. We know that the running game's got to get going. Dion Lewis has got to be a lot more impactful in the run game as well as the passing game. And Derrick Henry has got to quit dancing at the line. Just hit the hole. If there's not a hole there, like I said before, make a hole. You just get in there, grind it out. Get in there and get 4 to 5 yards to carry. And people have said it best. How many downs you have to get a first down? Mainly 3. If you can get about 4 yards to carry, 4, 8, 12, first down after 3 downs. So Derrick Henry needs to get at least 4 yards to carry. And I know everybody's going to have the same thing of, as Classic Rob would say, Henry needs more carries. Yes, Henry does need more carries, but Henry cannot just be effective when we have a lead. Derrick Henry needs to be effective from the word go, from the first kickoff, from the first offensive possession. The first carry he gets, he needs to make an impact. At least just pick up 4 to 5 yards to carry. Heck, even if you get 3.5 yards to carry, 3.5, which is 7, 3.5, that's 10.5, bang. First down, Titans. Ow, ow, ow. That's all he's got to do. Quit trying to dance and wait for the hole to open up. Just get in there and go through the hole. This offensive line is still good enough that they're going to open the holes. They're there. You got to go through them. And don't hesitate and everything. So got to get the run game going, number one. Number 2, and this is for Marcus Mariota as well as the passing game. And this is basically the combination of the whole offense. Get some rhythm offensively. Offensive line has got to block with emphasis. And I think, honestly, this team is going to have a chip on their shoulders. They're going to want to prove what happened with Buffalo was a fluke and that something like that will never, ever happen again. I know a guy like Taylor Lewan, he ain't going to take this lightly. He's going to probably be a little upset. And that whole offensive line is probably going to be upset. They got to protect Marcus better. They know they were embarrassed and humiliated, and they have to block better. Number 2, part 2 of this, Corey Davis, Tajay Sharp, they're going to have to find a way to beat the press because the book is out on them now. And teams are going to try to jam them at the line, get them off the timing and get them off their route and get them off their spot. And so they're going to have to find a way to beat the press, either with, swim moves or, find ways to swat their hands off of you because they can get in contact with you within the first 5 yards. And you need to get it so that you get beyond that 5 yards so that they can't get in contact with you and get yourself open. And this points me to Marcus. Marcus has got to trust his guys. I know he needs Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker ain't walking through that door. Rashard Matthews quit on us. He ain't coming back. Marcus is going to have to trust his guys. Now, yes, the wide receivers have to earn Marcus's trust, but at the same time, Marcus cannot hold the ball long. At about 2 seconds, the ball needs to be out of there. And one thing that they need to do, instead of just waiting for a big play to develop, maybe they need to do some short passes, some crossing routes, some slants, or anything, some in routes to kind of get the flow of the game going and get it so that you get a flow, you get a rhythm going, and just slowly move down the field. You don't have to go for a big play every single time. And it looked like that was what Marcus was doing. He was trying to find the big play, and instead just take the simple play. Take what the defense gives you, march methodically down the field, keep Phillip Rivers off the field, and get down and score touchdowns. Field goals is not going to win this game. Touchdowns is going to win this game. So let me take a look at some comments. Shane, what's going on with you? How's everything going? Gino saying if he gets to 2nd and 6, he'll get it again. 2nd and 8, they're passing the ball. I agree with that. If you get 4 yards on first down, hey, like he said, instead of 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, you're looking at 2nd and 6, maybe 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. And those are easier to convert, especially even if they pass the ball incomplete, 3rd down and 4, you can still get that. So he's got to be effective on first down and everything. So that's something that offensively they got to do. Shane's saying we need to get Firkser and Smith and Jonnu Smith involved. Dink and dunk check downs. I agree with that. Dink and dunking works. And not only does it give you more time on the field, as long as the plays are getting beyond the first down marker. If it's, 2nd and 5 and you throw a 7-yard slant, you get it, bang. First down, chains keep moving. That's what you got to do. And Firkser and Jonnu Smith, the tight end position, has to get involved. And this could be an opportunity for them because they may be so focused on the wide receivers. The tight ends could cause some damage. Firkser could be a good weapon, and Jonnu Smith has got to give you something because he's only had 1 catch in the last 3 games. And that's not going to work. Jonnu needs to be involved, has to be involved. And, you're supposed to be Delaney Walker's heir apparent. And right now he has played nothing like it. And he also needs to block better in the run game because that hinders that is hindering the offense as well. And maybe what the offense needs to do is put like Luke Stocker in a fullback position, and Derrick Henry does better with a lead blocker in front of him. Maybe that's something that they need to adapt or go to like an 11 personnel. That could actually work in this game. Let's see. Mama's Boy coming in. What's up, Mama's Boy? Said Rodgers played with 4th and 5th stringers. Good quarterbacks work with what they got. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. The good quarterbacks, and me and Justin was talking about this on Titans Tube. Perfect subject. We were talking about that. The great quarterbacks can work with absolutely nothing and turn them into stars. When Aaron Rodgers, I said it last night, I'm like, who the heck is Geronimo Allison? I've never heard of this guy until this season. And now Aaron Rodgers has turned him into possibly a household name. You got Devontae Adams, and things like that. Drew Brees. He's turned Michael Thomas into a legit number 1 wide receiver. All those years with Marcus Colston. Colston was a 5th round pick. He turned him into a Pro Bowl receiver. And Phillip Rivers has worked with a bunch of no-name receivers, throwing up 4,000 or 5,000 yard seasons every year. Things like that. And how many no-name receivers has Golden Boy worked with? Chris Hogan, Malcolm Mitchell. The list goes on and on. Now he's got Josh Gordon and everything. Turned Julian Edelman, a 7th round pick who was a quarterback, into a legit receiver. So it could be done. Marcus has got to trust his receivers, and I believe it was on 104.5 The Zone. A caller called in and said Marcus needs to just throw it and let the receivers go get it. It seemed like Marcus is waiting for the receivers to get open. And yes, in this scheme, I think they scheme receivers open, but sometimes you've got to just throw the ball and let the receiver go get it. And I think sometimes Marcus is scared of making a mistake. He's scared of throwing an interception and something like that, or a drop or something like that. That's where he's got to trust his guys. Let them go get the ball for you. Receivers want opportunities, and that's something that Marcus has got to give. Quit holding on to the ball. Don't be scared. Stand in there and get the ball out. And so, Classic Rod says Jonnu Smith's hands are suspect. Agreed. Heir apparent in the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, And, we need a victory. If we can get this win, we'll be able to move past the Philly victory because that's the best game we had so far. So we got to be able to put something together. Shane saying, yes, they were for that. They were for that game, but he needs more opportunities. Well, he's got to earn them. He's got to get open. He's got to block better. Jonnu Smith needs to get his act together and produce. And right now he's not doing that. And, this game, he might get some opportunities on that on the offensive side of the ball. But the offense as a whole has got to wake up. They've been asleep for the last 2 games. So they need to wake up. They need to just trust each other, play together, take their time, march down the field, and when they get in the red zone, touchdowns, not field goals. All right. So those are my 2 first keys. A, run game's got to get going. 2, offensive continuity. Marcus trusts his receivers. Offensive line blocks better. Marcus be smart with the football and get it out timely, because too many times Marcus held on the ball way too long, and some of those sacks, about 6 of those sacks were on him, where he just held the ball too long, didn't throw it away, didn't get rid of it. So that's something that has to happen. On the defensive side of the ball, and let me see, Handsome 7. At what point in the season do we start looking at drafting another quarterback if Marcus does not improve? Handsome, hold that thought. That's going to happen and pick my brain. So I'm definitely going to answer that question. I guarantee you on that. And if y'all got any other questions for me for pick my brain, definitely get with me on that. And get with me on that comment on there, and I'm going to answer that for you. But defensively, what we got to do, 2 other things. Number 1 thing they got to do defensively, we have got to get a pass rush. We have got to get some pressure on Phillip Rivers in this game. Now, Phillip Rivers is going to get the ball out quickly. And one thing that we're going to have to do, especially on the defensive line, and even with the Poe and Harold Landry, since Derek Morgan is going to be out the next few weeks, this is a great opportunity for Harold Landry. Get your hands up. Get your hands up, get in the way of the passing lanes, and knock the ball down. The defensive line is not defensive line, with Casey, Jones, and Johnson. They may not necessarily have to worry about getting sacks. I mean, if the opportunity's there, go get the sacks. But if nothing else, get your hands up and knock the ball down. Just don't let the ball get to the receivers, and that's something that can help this defense, especially with the pass rush. But a pass rush has got to happen, because it was non-existent against the Baltimore Ravens, and really it was non-existent against the Buffalo Bills as well. So we got to get a pass rush going. Landry, hasn't really done anything since that strip sack against Philly. Poe still is a goose egg. He's got to get some sacks and stuff like that. And so we got to get a pass rush going. And we may need to blitz a little bit more. The Titans are one of the better defenses. They haven't given up the explosive plays. But the Chargers are a team that they get explosive plays. So that's something that we've got to make sure we stop. And so pass rushing is going to be very, very important. Number 2, Vrabel said this a long time ago, coverage consistency. That is going to be majorly important in this football game. Everybody who has the responsibility to cover has to cover. And I think we need to play a little bit more man zone, so that way, like what Baltimore did, each guy's responsible for somebody. Because, and this is a good thing that Woodyard is coming back, because then you can have Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans covering instead of Darren Bates, who is just horrible in coverage on third down. Because last week against Baltimore, the Titans defense actually did pretty good on first and second down. They got the Ravens to third and long situations, but that was where their troubles were. They just could not get off the field. And I'm hoping to see a lot more press coverage. I am getting sick and tired year in and year out of seeing our corners playing so far off the ball. I mean, at best, play about 3 to 5 yards off the ball, so that way you can get in contact and jam the receiver instead of playing 5 to 7 yards or 7 to 10 yards off, and you're automatically giving up 5 to 7 yards. If I see a corner 7 to 10 yards off, I'm going to signal to my receiver, run a 5-yard slant. they're already going to give those yards away, 5 to 7 yards. You can keep the possession going that way. So we got to cover consistently, especially Malcolm Butler. He's got to, again, technique. He's got to clean that up. He's got to clean that up. Adore's got to play better. Logan's got to continue to play better. And Byard, of course, had our lone interception. We need more of those. We need to cause some turnovers because Phillip Rivers can be a bit of a gunslinger. So there could be opportunities there. They like to take shots deep. So Malcolm Butler, they're going to have to play it where Malcolm Butler has got to have some help over the top. Kenny Vaccaro being back could very well help with that because Kendrick Lewis is not that good at all. He's terrible in coverage. So Kenny Vaccaro, if he comes back and play, could be very important. Or Dane Cruikshank getting some time, that could be very important. So definitely some coverage consistency. Let's see. Classic Ride Society saying, I think he held the ball too long because he don't trust receivers. He don't want interceptions racking up, so he tried to run, but Ravens looked like they had spies. I agree. Once again, the book is out now. A lot of teams are going to try to emulate what the Ravens have done. Somebody's going to try to spy on Marcus and try to make sure he can't escape. One thing that Marcus is going to have to do is, you know what? Use that spy against them. If he's spying you, that's one less guy to defend somebody else. So use that to your advantage. If he's spying on you, then if it looks like you're leaking out, then maybe a running back leaks out or a tight end leaks out. Get the ball to them. And, just get the yards you could get and just methodically march down the field. Get you some 10, 12, 13-play drives and just take what the defense gives you. Mama's boy saying, if we keep blaming our receivers, eventually one is going to step up and be like, hey, it ain't us, like Allen Hurns. Well, that's the best way for the receivers to not have the blame put on them is to step up. And everything. So that's going to be something important. I mean, receivers need to step up big in this game. Corey Davis, prove you're number one. Taywan Taylor, use your speed. Tajay Sharp, just catch passes over the middle of the field. Keep chains moving. Every receiver has got to step up in this game, and it's going to be vital. So that's, prove it. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Put up or shut up. Plain and simple. Kevin Kong, what about Melvin Gordon? Well, I definitely mentioned that earlier in one of my first parts of the 4 ways to victory. Melvin Gordon is very dangerous. He's quick. He's very good. He blasts his way into the hole, and when he gets into the hole and there's room, he puts that burst on. And he also catches passes out of the backfield as well. And then they have another running back named Eckler. He's very good out of the backfield. So we got our work cut out for us in stopping the run. I mean, we're 24th against the run. We're still a top 10 defense totally and point scoring wise. So, we may bend but don't break. We may give up yards, but we don't give up touchdowns. And that's going to be extremely important. So that's something we got to do. We got to make sure we clog up the holes and shut Melvin Gordon down and not let him get outside. That's why Wesley Woodyard being back is extremely vital. It is so, so important that we have him back. And that's going to help this defense as a whole. All right, but those are the Blue Enforcer 4 ways to victory in this game. Again, get the run game started. Offensive continuity, pass rush, and coverage consistency. That's all going to be vital. So those are my 4 points, Blue Enforcer's 4 ways to victory. Now, give me just a moment. I'm going to pull up some questions. And definitely, put your Dunce of the Day nominations out. I don't really have a star of the week. I'm just going to quickly say the two-tone blue star of the week. I have to give it to Kevin Byard. He had our lone turnover. He had our lone interception, his first of the year. And once Byard gets one, he's going to start trying to get them in bunches. So I like Kevin Byard, what he's done. He keeps playing. And in the post game, you could tell he was not happy. You could tell he had that fire in him, like, it's frustrating. We got to play better. We got to look at the film. We got, through first, second down, got him in third and long. We just couldn't get off the field. We did not play well. And I like that. And, he held himself accountable. And, Malcolm Butler has come out publicly saying his play has not been good. And it's good that they hold themselves accountable, but they got to get better. So that's something that's extremely important. And Classic Rod, you're absolutely right. That is another key. I'm glad you mentioned that. And that is the one thing the Titans did do well against the Ravens. They did not turn the ball over. And you can't have turnovers. You cannot have turnovers. Desmond King intercepted 2 Baker Mayfield passes. Both of them were turned into scores. So turnovers, can't have them. And we got to force some turnovers. We got to maybe strip some fumbles or get Phillip Rivers to throw a couple of interceptions. So we got to play our role in doing that. So defensively, we got to be opportunistic, but not overly aggressive. Be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. So give me just a minute. We're going to go into my favorite episode of Pick My Brain. Pick my brain. So I want y'all to put some questions out there for me, and I'm definitely going to answer them. And so first question I'm going to say is to Handsome 7. He mentioned it. When do we start looking for another quarterback if Marcus doesn't improve? I listened to Jared, the GM, yesterday, and I thought about this. Yes, Marcus is struggling, and that's not good. Marcus is struggling big time, but I think it would be wrong for this team to just flat out give up on him. Now, should we maybe draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round as a good backup quarterback, maybe to push Marcus, not necessarily to dethrone him, but maybe to push Marcus a bit harder, saying, hey, I need to step my game up before this guy takes my job. Maybe like a scare tactic. I could see that happening, but, Jared said something extremely important that I am afraid of. If you give up on a perfectly good quarterback, I am scared that if we give up on Marcus too soon, that he'll go somewhere like a New Orleans when Drew Brees retires, or goes to San Diego after Phillip Rivers retires maybe in another year or two, or goes to a, God forbid, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then he comes back and lights the league up, gets them to a AFC championship or an NFC championship, and then goes to some Super Bowls and wins one. And then we're sitting back looking like, why couldn't he have done that with us? Or what was wrong with us that we couldn't get that? Why did we give him up? That is something I am terrified of as far as letting Marcus go. So, that is something I am worried about. But, is it possible to look at another quarterback? Maybe not in the 1st round, but maybe within the first, maybe in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. Yeah, maybe I might consider it as far as competition. But I'm not ready to give up on Marcus just yet. Yes, my confidence in him is shaking a bit, but I'm not giving up on Marcus just yet. I'm still gonna ride and fly with number 8 behind center. Definitely. But thank you for that question, Handsome 7. Of course, I got my guy Shane with a few questions. First, he says, what do we have to do to get our run game going finally? I think it's a lot of things. First, the blocking has to be better, number 1. Number 2, I think we could use the pass to set up the run instead of trying to use the run to set up play action pass. Maybe we come out with some play action passes and try to soften up the defense a bit, because they're going to try to crowd the box and they're going to try to shut down the run. And they're going to figure come after Mariota with the pressure. If they're going to come out with blitzes, get some passes out quickly, and in that way, they back off a bit from blitzing, and then that can open up the running game. So that's what I think. Instead of trying to use the run to set up the pass, use the pass to set up the run with that. So that's what I think we could do as far as getting the running game going. And before I answer the next question, I'm going to go back. Classic Ryan, I thank you for bringing up this point. If that happens, it's coaching too many different systems. That is another thing. That is why I say we don't give up on a perfectly good quarterback. Let me give you a stat for you. Marcus has been through 3 different offensive systems in 4 years. 3. That's not going to help make a quarterback a good quarterback. He's already been through Ken Wisenhunt, Jason Michael, Terry Robisky, and now Matt LaFleur. He is on his 4th offensive coordinator. Now, granted, Jason Michael was really with Wisenhunt. So you really make 3. He's had 3 offensive coordinators, 3 different systems in 4 years. A quarterback can't develop if every single year or every other year he has to learn an entirely new offense. And I mean, Matt LaFleur, people have already said it best. Experts said it best. The type of offense that Matt LaFleur is trying to run, it's going to take at least a year to fully master and get down. And and right now I'm thinking it's kind of glad we're going through this little spurt because Matt LaFleur may end up staying, which could pay dividends to Marcus. So that way he has some continuity within the offense, within the particular offense. I mean, think about it. Drew Brees. He's had Sean Payton for all those years. He hasn't had to learn a new offense all the time. He has the same offense, and he integrates players into it. Peyton Manning had Pepper Hamilton all those years calling plays of Jim Caldwell. Consistency. Golden Boy has had Josh McDaniels all the time calling plays. Continuity. Phillip Rivers had Ken Wisenhunt before, and now that he came back to San Diego, it's pretty much clockwork for him. That's something that we got to have. We got to have some continuity with that. So giving up on Marcus, I wouldn't do it. And so that way, and then think about it, if you bring in another quarterback, then dag, you got to teach this quarterback a whole new system. And he's got to learn these receivers now. So that puts the offense back about 3 to 4 years before you really find something out. So that's why I wouldn't get rid of Marcus just like that. Classic Ross said, I think Henry needs 20 carries. This switching back and forth between Henry and Lewis isn't working. I agree. I think they need to have it where Henry gets about 3 or 4 carries in a row. And then, you can go one series with Derrick Henry, one series with Dion Lewis, or line them both up at the same time. That might help too. You could spread Lewis out, put him out in the slot, and have Derrick Henry, or if you have him in the backfield, they don't know who's getting the ball. So that's something that they might need to do instead of switching back and forth. Shane's second question said, do you see Sir and Jonnu being a big part of the offense going forward? We're going to find out. We talked about that earlier. They need to be more involved because we've gotten really, literally no production from the tight end position. That needs to change. Third question, who's the number 1 guy you like to see us pick up or trade for at wide receiver? Right now, rumors, Bill Barnwell of ESPN put out, a hypothetical trade that we trade Tajay Sharp for Golden Tate and a 5th round pick. We give up a 5th and Tajay for Golden Tate. I've heard radio show maybe mention Randall Cobb. He could be getting out of Green Bay, which I would like that. But I've also heard about Amari Cooper maybe trying to get out of Oakland. Now, Oakland has put out this ridiculous, stupid offer of a 1st round pick. And right now, Amari Cooper's in concussion protocol. So they're being unrealistic wanting a 1st round pick for Amari Cooper. Yes, I think even though Amari Cooper has had some drop issues, every receiver has drop issues. I don't know one receiver in the NFL that has caught every single ball that has come his way. Well, maybe a possibility of Larry Fitzgerald. I could see that. I could see where Larry Fitzgerald or maybe even an Odell Beckham. But even those guys, they've all dropped passes before. So nobody has caught every single target that's come their way. Absolutely not. But I think Amari Cooper is my number one choice. Why I say that? A new destination and a new start will do wonders for him. Number two, he would come to an offense that I think would want him. He would take some pressure off of Corey Davis immediately, just being there. And plus, I would love to hear the Titan fans at Nissan Stadium when he catches the ball, we go, Coop. That would be so cool. That would be really cool if that could get going. I mean, Amari Cooper, like Corey Davis, a very good route runner. He is always where he's supposed to be. And I think a guy like him, he would earn Mariota's trust immediately. And, that would take the pressure off of others, and other guys would get a chance. So if you try to double them, it will be a pick your poison. If you double Amari, you're leaving Corey Davis a chance. If you double Corey, Amari's going to have a shot. And even if you somehow take care of both of them, then that leaves Taywan Taylor or Tajay Sharp across the middle. So I would love to get Amari Cooper. I just wouldn't do it for no first or second round pick. Maybe a third, and that's about as high as I would go. I would say a third, maybe throw in a player like maybe a Kendrick Lewis or, you throw in a guy, maybe maybe Jonnu Smith. I mean, I know he doesn't have no value, but I would say a third in Jonnu, or maybe a third in David Fluellen, even though I think Fluellen could be pretty decent. I'm just giving that as an example. But I would at least give up a third round pick for Amari Cooper. I think that would be a steal, in my honest opinion, to have 89. Yes, we would have to re-sign him to a new deal, and if we get him locked up already, then hey, we take the pressure off of that, and then we focus on Marcus. And so, another question: what is our biggest weakness right now? There's quite a few places that could be a weakness right now. I would probably say our weakness is the run game on both sides, both stopping the run and getting the run game going. And that starts again with the trenches, both offensive and defensive line. So that's something that's going to have to be important. Tornado Freak says, Dez, that ship is way sailed and sinked. I don't want Dez Bryant on this team. Yes, he's talented, but he's a head case. He's a diva. Is he going to come in here and actually play second fiddle to Corey Davis? Probably not. Amari Cooper is a team guy. Dez Bryant is a me guy. That ain't going to fly with John Robinson. Think about it, y'all. If the Titans really wanted Dez Bryant, he would have been here already. So, and there's a reason why 31 other teams haven't picked him up either. I mean, he turned down a 3-year, $21 million deal from the Ravens. And the Cleveland Browns passed on him. That says something right there. And Shane comes in with Maclin and Cooper. I mean, Jeremy Maclin, I could see that as a last resort. He would be a nice number 3 or a number 2 at best. But I think his best playing days are behind him. I will probably sign him to maybe a 1-year deal, maybe this year and next year, just for 1 year, just to see what we have. But I don't know about Jeremy Maclin. Maybe we'll have to see about that. Mama's boy saying Mahomes is on his second offensive coordinator. Actually, he's not. We all know Andy Reid calls that offense. Yes, Doug Peterson was the offensive coordinator, in Kansas City. But we all know this is Andy Reid's offense. And, Mahomes in his second year, he had an entire – but the thing about Mahomes is he had an entire year to learn the offense under Andy Reid. He sat back and watched Alex Smith before taking the reins. That's why Patrick Mahomes is lighting it up right now. He sat back for an entire year to learn an offense. He didn't have to get thrown to the wolves right away. So that's why Mahomes is doing very well. And, of course, Shane saying, do you see Marcus being able to throw for 250, 2 or more touchdowns? I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think I would like to just see Marcus be more consistent, get a couple of touchdowns. He doesn't have to throw for 250. If he throws for about 225, 230 with a couple of scores and we get a couple of runs in as well, then I'm perfectly fine with that. Trying to see if I have any other questions out there. So if I got any other questions, put it out there, y'all. And if I didn't get to your question, I'll answer it off the air. And for my guy Jason Glover out there, with Pick My Brain, basically what works is that I'll put a post out saying, hey, I'm putting out questions for Pick My Brain, for PMB, and just either on, you can write something on my Facebook wall under Chris A. Newell. You can write you can comment on the status when I say questions for Pick My Brain, whether on my page or on the TNT Enforcers page. You could do that. If you follow me on Instagram, if I'm saying like a new episode's coming out, you could comment on there as well. Or when the video is live like this, like you see the comments here, you can ask me questions as I'm doing the show. So that's how Pick My Brain works. And it's very simple. You can just ask me questions at any time. Let's see. T-Swag 1420 saying, do you think Jayon deserves the other starting job next to Woody? That's a very good question. I'm hoping that it will be in the future. It is Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans, and maybe you bring Wesley Woodyard in on third down, or you bring Woodyard in on certain packages. But right now, I would say it should be Woodyard and Rashaan Evans. Although I could see Jayon Brown, I would like to see Jayon Brown be more of a 3-down back because I think he deserves that opportunity. Excuse me, because he's done very, very well for this team. He's done a lot better. But I'm hoping that for the future, it is Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans as our starting middle linebackers. That's what I would like to see. Tornado Freaks coming in saying, bring in Bell and dump Henry. It depends on the price. I mean, I wouldn't mind Le'Veon Bell. He's a heck of a player, but is he going to come in here and be a team guy, or is he going to be a me guy? Right now, he's acting like a me guy, and I don't like that. Because, I mean, if you're even being traded, you would still show up, show your worth, show what you should get. And, I mean, if he showed his worth, he'd be worth a first or second round pick easily. So that's why I would hold off on Bell. But, I mean, it'd be nice, but I'm hoping he's not a me guy. T-Swag said, why has Bates been on third down backer? I think mostly because Wesley Woodyard's been out. I mean, you had Jayon Brown, Rashaan Evans, and then Darren Bates coming in. With Wesley Woodyard coming back, that keeps Bates off the field, and he focuses on special teams. So that's why he'll be our third backer. Woodyard, Evans, and then Jayon Brown coming in. Or you have Woodyard, Jayon Brown, and then you bring Evans in on third down. So that's what I would think. AZ Mix saying, Des, too much drama. Agreed. Absolutely agree with that. So let me see. I think I got, maybe see if I got one more question here. All right, Classic Rock. Thank you for the question. Do you think it's going to be a tight race for the division? Texas just lucky wins. Jags defense getting torched. It's going to be a dogfight. I expected nothing less. You know, Deshaun Watson is going to try to will this team, and I mean, yes, the Texans have won 3 straight wins against mediocre teams. And the Jags defense looks like they're coming back down to earth. Saxonville might be dying in front of our very eyes. So, I mean, this division is wide open. It's for the taking. We just got to get back on a roll and consistently start winning so that we can take this division and get back on a roll. The good thing is that even though it's tied, we're in first place. We got tiebreakers over Houston and Jacksonville already. And so that is where I think we take advantage. So I think this division is for the taking, and we can take this division. But before we do get out of here tonight, y'all, because I know it's been about 55 minutes, I appreciate everybody sticking with me tonight on this episode. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulty. Show should happen a long time ago. Shout out to Titans Tube, my guy Justin, and the Noob Destroyer for having me on. Again, that episode is out on YouTube. It says Titans Tube. Talking Titans recap, talking Titans and truth. So it's on their Titans 2 page. I will share it on Facebook, and I will show some footage on Instagram as well and on Twitter. So be looking for that in just a bit. And also remember, this is the month of Crucial Catch in talking about breast cancer. So if some of y'all saw me, I had on my season ticket holder card and lanyard, I had a little pink ribbon showing support for breast cancer awareness. Definitely get out there and get involved. Donate some money to the cause, because breast cancer is unacceptable. It is a disease that it hurts our women. It also affects men as well. I know a lot of times you think breast cancer, you're thinking is just about the ladies and stuff like that. No, men could be affected with breast cancer as well. So that is something that you got to take heed to. If something happened where you are diagnosed, get on the treatment. Get on the treatment, and definitely do your research and try to beat this disease. And get involved. Definitely donate your time. You got Susan G. Komen. You also got here in Nashville with the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. If you're in town, November 3rd is the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk. I'm going to try to be out there as well with some of my fraternity brothers, some of my sorors walking for a great cause. Y'all come out there as well. I'm probably going to be taking pictures. I'm probably going to go live, maybe on Facebook and Instagram, talking about this cause. So definitely join me out there for this terrific, terrific cause with that. Also, we talk about breast cancer. There are other cancers that need to be talked about as well. Of course, my mother-in-law, was dealing with lung cancer. And, she went through the therapy and has beat lung cancer. That's very important. You have prostate cancer. September was Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and everything. So that's something that affects men, definitely. You deal with lupus is another one. You got blood cancers. You got anything like that that's out there. So definitely do your research. Definitely get involved. I know all of us have either a loved one or friends or anybody that has had to fight and deal with this disease and everything. So I have a friend of mine. She just beat breast cancer and got to ring the bell as well. So I'm proud of her for that. My girl, Miss Tawana Jones, of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I shout you out and everybody that has beat that. So, get involved. Get involved and step up for that. So, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all. I know it's been late. Thank y'all for tuning in with me, for sticking with me. I got to get out of here because I got to eat right quick and get to sleep. So, I got to get up early for work. Thank y'all for tuning in to Titans of Truth. Y'all know where to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the website. Facebook Titans and Truth, TNT Enforcers. Subscribe to that page. Hit that button. A lot of people have done that, like Classic Rise Society has already joined in. So everybody join in. Titans and Truth. I love y'all. And pre and post game show on TNT Enforcers page coming this Sunday. So I will see y'all on Sunday. Let's get this win over the pond.